And good afternoon, everyone. And I have to say, it was a wonderful show last week, or actually, it was 2 days ago. It feels like last week. But a couple apologies for the show. First, Mike Brady is the one who did the trailers, and he does do book trailers for authors. So y'all look him up. Number two, I have to apologize because we kept talking about Amy on the stalking, and we kept saying episode 6. And if y'all went to episode 6 and y'all looked it up, and it was Dan Chris Games. No, she's not stalking gamers. But the episode was actually episode 7.
I feel like we should clarify here because, Kevin Sorbo is here and he's going to think I'm a stalker. So let me clarify this before he's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten onto? Okay. I'm not really a stalker. I just was talking about at the Comic Cons, right? I will, if you're someone I want to meet, I will come and find you. And so it's not, I'm not going to stalk you. Please don't worry about that. I will not literally do that. Just at the Comic Cons, I will come and find you and make sure, that I say hi. Like, that's just kind of my thing. And I don't have better terminology than stalk you until I get to say hi. And that's for anybody. So it's not a literal thing, but kind of.
Come up with the term fanatic as opposed to stalker.
Yeah, I didn't want, anyone continuously listening or for Kevin to think I'm going to come, stalk him. I will not do that. I promise. I won't do that.
Well, I think hounding would probably be a good word.
No,
I'm just the person that you will continuously see in your line of vision until you say hi or whatever. That's just I'm that kind of person I will be. That I think that's a fair judgment. I can say that about myself.
Well, sometimes you don't, when someone's talking, you don't want to butt into them, but you want them to see you and eventually say, "Hey, I've seen you all day. Great, I need to talk to you."
Yeah, I could do that too. I could. That's a nicer way, but yeah, I could.
Anyway, the excitement coming on. We have 13 days for Comic Conroe to start, which I'm looking very much forward to because it will be their first Comic Con. And I think it's going to start giving Comic Palooza a run for its money. Maybe not the first year, but a couple of years down the road.
I'm super excited. I get to do triple time. I'll do Comic Con I'll do the con hour that day. I have my author stuff that day and Star Trek Pathfinder stuff that day. So we run around like a maniac all weekend, but it'll be a blast.
Anyway, let's introduce our guest, which we haven't done yet. Kevin Sorbo's here with us today.
Yay!
How y'all doing?
Hi.
I'm looking forward. I've done Comic Palooza before, and I'm trying to remember when it was. It's probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago already. The years go by so darn fast. So I know it was. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to come back out again, and I know we got some pretty fun things lined up for my time there as well. So I can't wait to get out there.
So how many Comic Cons do you do a year?
Because just Hercules and Andromeda combined, you got the space world covered, then you got the sci-fi world, the fantasy world covered. I get, Herc was in 176 countries, Andromeda was 150 countries. And I know this is Sin of Pride, but by season 3, we became the most watched show in the world with Hercules, which is pretty cool. And so I get invited probably to 30 or 40 cons a year. And I usually pick out anywhere from 6 to 10. It really depends on my schedule and what's going on. 2 years ago, before COVID shut the world down, I got invited 3 in a row in Europe. One was in Vienna, Munich, and Brussels. So I took my whole family. We just made a month trip out there, and we just had a blast. My 3 kids, my wife, and we just buzzed. I spent 3.5 years living in Europe after college, so it was fun for me to kind of go back and retrace some of my early youth ventures. And we just had such a good time. Renting our car and cruising on the Autobahn at 160 miles an hour. It was fun.
Nice.
I did that in Arizona once.
That's probably only slightly over the speed limit there.
It was back in the 90s, too. It's nothing but desert. I just happened to look in my rearview mirror and I see these flashing lights way behind me. And then I look down at the speedometer and it's pegged.
I drove from LA to Dallas one time years ago. and you go through all of California, all of Arizona, all of New Mexico, and when you get to El Paso, you're now in Texas, but you're only halfway to Dallas.
Yeah.
That's how big that state is. And I remember after I left El Paso, I was cruising, and it just like probably what you. I wasn't thinking. I was just by myself, and I was cruising, and I didn't pay attention. I was kind of landlocked there, and there was nothing but oil wells around me and stuff. Nobody around, and the whole time, I guess these cops have been next to me for like 10 minutes. I finally look over at them, and they were laughing, and the guy just said, "Slow it down." They're pulling over.
Nice.
There's days and not paying attention, but thank God they didn't give me a ticket because I know it was going probably about 105 or something like that. But they were nice enough not to give me a big ticket.
Well, my husband and I drove from San Diego all the way to East Texas where we live. It took us the exact same time to drive from San Diego to El Paso.
Sure.
As it did from El Paso to East Texas. The exact same time.
You know it.
It's a long drive.
It's a big ass state, guy. Everything big in Texas. It's Texas, boy. So I lived in Dallas for 2 years after college. I went down there. I was with an agency called the Kim Dawson Agency doing commercials and print work. And I went down there because it's always about a girl, right? So I was dating a girl that was living down there. But I had two buddies playing football at SMU from my high school. So it was fun. I had a good time. I was a bouncer at a club called Confetti's. It was a hot club back then. And it was interesting. I had a very good time there. So I do have a tie-in, and I've shot a lot of movies in Dallas, Fort Worth area as well, and in Austin and Waxahachie. I just like saying Waxahachie. So I've shot probably 7-8 movies in Texas.
Nice. Okay, so we'll classify you as a Texan. We'll
there you go.
group you in there.
Honorary Texan.
I like the state.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very big state. That's true. I mean, 11 hours and you're still not even out of the state. But I was born and raised here, so I hold a very close part of my heart. So.
Sure.
Well, one of the things that you're doing at Comic Conroe, which I haven't really seen done at any other Comic Cons, is Friday night you're having movie night with Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
And I believe we actually have the trailer for the movie that's going to be playing. So let's go ahead and play that real quick, and then we'll ask you a couple of questions afterwards.
Sure.
But nothing to ruin movie night.
No.
You're not Julius Caesar, okay?
No, I'm not. You didn't think big enough.
What if you had the perfect life?
Mercedes-Benz SL65.
Will you marry me?
Of course, Penny Bear.
What if God
Came today some kind of missionary letter?
Wendy.
Who's she?
Old girlfriend. We almost got married.
You still talk to her?
I make a point of never going back.
had other plans?
What's going on? No. Kidding me? It's a brand new car.
Who are you? I'm an angel sent here to help you straighten out your life.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Count backwards from 100.
No.
Fine. All right. Well, have it your way.
Mommy, Daddy's crawling on the floor.
Dad, no, I'm not anybody's dad.
A divine intervention.
What is this? What's Wendy doing here? Why does everyone act like they know me?
Gives him a second chance.
Reverend, I'm ready for you now. Reverend. You know, I try to make more money so you can buy things, and then you'll be happy.
It's called The Great What If.
What if?
See, every now and then he chooses someone to re-examine their life.
Daddy paid the most popular guy in Clearville $80 to stay away from me. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And it's all because of you.
I can't be the Ben that they think I am. I'm not your husband, and I'm not their father.
I knew I was adopted.
When you walked away, you broke two hearts, Wendy's and his. Now he's giving you another chance.
Thank you for letting me make things right, even though I don't deserve it all. I want to be yours from now on.
Kevin Sorbo, Christy Swanson, John Ratzenberger, and Debbie Ryan.
Thanks, Daddy.
You're welcome.
From producer Jerry Jenkins, author of the Left Behind series.
I spent years thinking that I was happy, but I didn't know what happy meant.
What if?
You know, you're pretty tough for an angel. Where do you rank? Did they send me someone important?
The fact that I'm sitting here babysitting you should tell you where I rank.
That last line's awesome.
Now, one of do want to ask is, have you ever had a movie night at any convention before?
No, this is the first time. I've done a VIP night. That's what I told them. I said, guys, I've been doing these VIP nights lately where I show an episode of Hercules. We have a meet and greet. We have, snacks and drinks. I do a special 11 by 14 picture of either Hercules or Captain Dylan Hunt from Andromeda that won't be at the table at the con. We do a Q&A after it. And we might show a couple little bloopers. I make it a fun night. And I've been doing that more and more the last 3 years. But they came up with this to say, hey, we got a movie theater we can use. So we are doing the VIP night on Saturday night, but we're doing this movie screening. And they said, look, you do a lot of movies that are family friendly. It doesn't have to be a con movie, so to speak, or, an episode of Herc or Andromeda or something like that. And they brought up I said, well, what about What If? I think I've shot 66 movies and counting. I got 4 more lined up to go. So this year alone. And I put that in my top 3. I know a lot of people, in the Bible Belt, I do a lot of faith-based, family-friendly movies. There's a movie I did called God's Not Dead that was a massive hit.
Yeah.
This is the same writers. What If? Came out 2 years before God's Not Dead. In my book, it's a better movie. But it's hard for independent movies to get, if you look at Avatar, Avengers, Thor, these Spider-Man movies, Hollywood spends $300 million on these movies. Then he spent another $100 million promoting it. We do movies that in my production company in the $3 to $4 million range. And that sounds like a lot of money. That's catering budget on Pirates of the Caribbean, So how do we get out there? We can only get out by word of mouth. And God's Not Dead just strike lightning and just became huge. That $3 million budget it was a $2 million budget, made over $140 million. I mean, it was insane. So this is a movie that we decided to show out there because I want families to come to it. We can get to the, Comic Conroe on Saturday night with me because it's going to be a fun night, promise me. But I think this is something the kids of all ages will love. They'll see it. John Ratzenberger from Cheers, Cliff from Cheers. He's the voice in every Pixar movie. He's awesome. And Christy Swanson, of course, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Debbie Ryan's a big star in the Disney Channel. So we had a great cast. We shot up in Michigan. And it's a wonderful little movie. And trust me, if you come, bring a little box of Kleenex because there's a couple places that if you have a heart and soul, whatever, you might tear up a little bit. But it's a lot of laughs in this one as well.
I just tell people I have dust in my eyes.
I'll own it. I will own it. Ever since I've had children, I am just, I can cry at the drop of a hat. That's just I've become more sensitive since then. So it is what it is,
I can cry to commercial on TV.
Right? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. And I've noticed a few of the cons have been stepping up their games and doing stuff like this. So I was wondering if you had ever done anything like that before.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I've done the VIP night, but not this. And this is, I appreciate them putting this together because I think people enjoy it. And really, I hope, could you tell them where it's at, the name of the theater in Conroe?
Oh, good Lord. I'd have to call Scott on that one.
I guess you can eat there and stuff.
I'll get
Kathy,
it.
if you're watching, and I think you might know, so go ahead and post that.
CJ knows.
Give me just a second. So what exactly is going to be happening that night? Is it like a movie, meet and greet? What?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there ahead of time. Obviously, meet and greet people. I'll get up on stage and introduce the movie and talk about how it happened because it's a great story about how it happened. And we'll have a screening of the movie, and then we'll just do a Q&A afterwards.
There we go. It's Star Grill, Star Cinema Grill.
Nice.
Star Cinema Grill. Yeah, I guess you can. I guess you can order like they bring food to your.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I think just from
at
watching
8
the
o'clock.
trailer.
I think it's an 8 o'clock screening.
Nice. Okay.
We just lost CJ.
Oh my goodness, that girl. I will say I have seen the God's Not Dead, and that movie is incredible. I really love that movie, and so I'm really looking forward to this movie that you're showing on Friday night. And I'm hoping to come in on Friday because I'll be at Comic Conroe. I'm hoping Friday, like mid-afternoon through Sunday afternoon, but cool. I'm very excited to see it. And it is something, I do agree with Greg. It is something that's very different than any other Comic-Con that I know of that is doing it. And I think that's really cool because then they can watch the movie and you can get, I don't know, like the best way to word it, but it's like they can get their questions answered and stuff right there on the spot instead of always kind of wondering and stuff, because that's one of the things about it.
What's interesting, I've noticed over the last 10 years is more and more, it's not just people coming up to get an autograph from Hercules or Andromeda or maybe, I've done a 3-show arc on Supergirl and things like that. A lot of people say, hey, do you have any photos from God's Not Dead or Soul Surfer? I'm in the movie Soul Surfer as well, or Let There Be Light, which if you have Amazon, that's streaming right now. I directed that one. That was up in theaters about 2.5 years ago and had a 4-month run. Abel's Field, which is a modern day Cain and Abel meets Friday Night Lights. I shot that in Austin, Texas. And so it's interesting to see a lot of people, because they say, Hollywood's putting out so much stuff right now that I don't want my kids to see. And so I'm doing more and more movies that have more, you see what's going on in the crazy world right now. I think I do movies that have hope and redemption and love and laughter. And I think we need hope more than anything else in our country, because it's just crazy what we're doing to each other right now.
Yeah, I love the movie arcs that you started, you kind of transferred over to with all the more faith-based ones. Absolutely love those.
Yeah, I mean, I hate like the pigeonhole say faith-based, because some, I call them family-friendly. Yes, there's a faith element to it. Like my latest one coming out that I directed, it's going to be out in theaters late September. It's called Miracle in East Texas. Mm-hmm. And it's a true story set in 1930 during the heart of the Depression. It's about 2 con men played once again by John Ratzenberger, who's in What If, and myself. And this is a true story. They went through Oklahoma and Texas, and they would woo widows out of their money on fake oil wells. They would sell 500% of the shares, and then they would declare a dry hole and move the next town and do it again. Well, they got to Kilgore, and they struck oil by accident, and being the largest oil find in the history of the world. So it's called Miracle in East Texas. I'm not giving anything away by when I say they strike, the largest oil. It's in the title, Miracle in East Texas. But it's a wonderful, funny movie. Lou Gossett Jr. is in it. Tyler Mane is in it. A lot of con people know him as the Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie, and he's also a WWF guy. And my wife's in it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful script written by Dan Gordon, who was he was nominated for an Oscar for screenplay. He wrote The Hurricane. Denzel Washington won the Best Actor thing, and he wrote Wide Earp, Kevin Costner's Western, and he wrote 60 episodes of Highway to Heaven from Michael Landon's series. He's a wonderful writer, and look for Miracle in East Texas coming out. In fact, when I get, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send them ahead of time. I'm gonna send them the trailer to that movie, and we can show that trailer before we show What If.
Nice.
So
we talked earlier. What's the sword behind you?
Yes.
Okay, 7 years on Hercules. I said to you earlier, the Sin of Pride, Hercules by season 3 became the most watched show in the world. And when we finished the last episode at the end of season 7, the hundreds of people that were behind Hercules, behind the camera, working whatever departments, from wardrobe to visual effects, whatever, they all give me this beautiful sword. It's gold up here. Wow. And it's got a wonderful, wonderful little, it says, the journey's over with Hercules, but the legend lives on.
I love it.
Cool.
They handed it to me. We're all done. It was the last episode. Bruce Campbell was in the very last episode as well. We shot the last couple episodes out of sequence because Michael Hurst, who plays Aeolus, had to do a play. So he was unable, so we had to switch things around. So when they handed me the sword, I could see in Bruce's eyes, because he's knows what it's like after you have a long run on anything. It's emotional and hard to say goodbye to people, because they become your family. You're with them 12 to 14 hours a day, more than you are with your own family. And so for me to, 7 years of my life in New Zealand, it was such a big chapter in my life, and I couldn't get out the words. I just lost it, But the props department gave me this, and I don't know if a lot of people know this. Peter Jackson used to come on the set quite a bit to see how the crew was developing, because all through the 90s while we were filming, he's writing Lord of the Rings, right? Mm-hmm. So he was, he took 90% of my crew, and they all wanted the Lord of the Rings. And, visual effects won Academy Awards, props department did. Nyla Dixon did all of our wardrobe on Herc, Xena and Young Herc. She won Best Costume Designer. So when I got invited to the Academy Awards by Peter Jackson, at the after party, he said, your show really started the industry. It wasn't a Hercules. We even have so many talented people now on both sides of the camera in our country. And I said, that's nice, Peter, but why didn't you put me in your damn movie? There's not one role for me you could have gave me in Lord of the Rings?
Just a walk-on something?
There's more than one character in Lord of the Rings, Peter.
You can put me somewhere in there and kill me. It's fine. Just put me in there.
Heck yeah. Look, I've known Clint Eastwood for 33 years I've known Clint Eastwood. I've golfed with him, everything. I said, Clint, One line. I don't care. I just want to be in a Clint Eastwood movie. My ego's not that big. I don't have to have the lead, but it still hasn't happened. He's 90 now, but he's still making movies. But come on, man. One line is all I want.
Oh,
Give me a walk on at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So what other, I think you have more conventions coming up besides Conroe. What other conventions you have coming up that other
Believe it
people
or not,
might?
I leave tomorrow for Oklahoma, Guthrie, Oklahoma. I got 1 week left on the Ronald Reagan movie. Dennis Quaid plays Reagan. I play as pastor. And we're on the last couple of weeks of filming there right now. And so from there, I wrap on Friday. So I'll miss the Friday con, but I fly that night to Indianapolis. So I'm doing the con up there. It's called, what is it called? It's like The Dead or something. It's interesting. What are they? I gotta see the naming.
Sounds like one of Amy's cons.
Days of the Dead. Days of the Dead.
That sounds like an Amy con.
That's an Amy con.
And Bill Philpott, this guy runs it. He lives here in Orlando, just not too far from me in Florida here. And so I'm doing that con, and then I've got one. I just did one in Jackson, Mississippi, and I'll tell you, it was packed. People were so excited. I think people are just excited to get back out again. I mean, it was. I was just blown away by the number of people there. And hey, by the way, Flash, I'm hoping they come soon because I know we're 2 weeks away, right?
2 weeks, 13 days.
So they finally came out with the Hercules Funko Pop thing. Finally.
Oh.
So I'm hoping I get them before I come down to the show. It'd be great to have them there ahead of time because I know people go crazy for those and collect those things. So
yeah, I got them all over in here.
Well, Universal held up. I guess Universal was being kind of a pain in the butt with the guys that do that, and they were holding up the licensing on my show for a long, long time. I think they, I don't know what the reason is behind it. Everything's got weird things going on, but it's finally done. I've seen the prototype. It's cool. It's fun. So I hope they're here before I head down your way. But then I leave August 15th for Canada. I'm directing the next Left Behind movie.
Oh, awesome. Yes. I've been waiting for it.
So it's been 8 years. I'm taking over the Nicolas Cage role and I'm directing it as well. The script is fantastic. So I'll be shooting there August through September. And then October, November, I'm filming a Western in New Mexico with Antonio Sabato and Dean Cain. And
aren't you going to be at Tyler Comic Con in October? Because I know I am. That's why I thought you were on lineup for that.
The Tyler, it's in October?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, conflict.
I don't know. It's not on my calendar, so I don't know if they invited me. I'm doing one called the Hazard Con in Greenville, Tennessee.
Yeah, they have you listed as a guest, and it's
in the what's the dates?
The 9th and 10th of October.
Boy.
They have you and Edison Pentak are the bigger names coming.
Who's running that? Do you know? They got to get a hold of me because I don't have that. I'm pretty good at keeping records on that. And I don't see that on here. What's his name?
Brett Mitchell.
Okay, I know Brett Mitchell. I don't think I have his number though. If you guys got his number, you can email to me later.
I don't. I have his email though.
Well, Greg's got my info.
Yeah,
we won't give it over right now.
Oh no.
I'll forward it. He'll toss it over to you.
I mean, fans want to talk to me, they can go to kevinsorbo.net. Hey, another place to go is sorbos.org. So sorbos.org. Good place to go. It's a new site that's up. My wife's on there as well. We got a lot of stuff happening. So yeah, so please check it out. And by the way, Amy, how old are your kids?
My kids are, my oldest just turned 2 on Thursday.
Okay, they're too young.
Yeah, they're really little.
They're not ready for the movie, remember any movie yet. No, I just have a really good family movie out right now. It's been out for 7 weeks already. It's in theaters, and it's called The Girl Who Believes in Miracles. It's a nice family movie. I'm in it with Miro Sorvino and Peter Coyote, and it's a nice family movie.
Well, now I'm going to have to give you one of my books, knowing that you shot a Western.
I love Westerns. I've shot 4.
I won actually best young adult Western in the state of Texas.
Did you really?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome.
So now I have to give it to you to see what you think.
So they're over here in case people are curious. That's me with Muhammad Ali right there. Me and Muhammad Ali.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Which is and that's my mom and dad. Yay, mom and dad.
Yay. So I'm actually one of your connections on LinkedIn, and if I remember correctly, you just came from Israel?
No, I've been there. I've been there twice. I shot a documentary there 2 years ago. And that's out right now called Against the Tide, againstthetide.movie. People check that out. It's a really good documentary. I was supposed to go there now to do another documentary. An archaeological dig, they have uncovered the world's oldest, to date so far, the oldest temple. And a lot of interesting people have already talked about it, but I'm going to be on camera. But now they had a lockdown because of the not the virus, because of the war that was going on. So they moved my dates, but then when they moved my dates, I said it overlaps with my other stuff. So now we're not going to go there until I think mid-January. I'm taking off. I got about 3 weeks to be there. So and I do want to do a quick announcement. Next May, my wife and I are taking the first 50 people. We'll put it on my website that want to join us in Israel. We're gonna take a big. We took 50 people a couple of years ago, and they loved it. I mean, you don't have to be a person of faith to go to Israel. There's a lot of history there, and I think people would love the journey that they get to go on and things they get to see. Because I'm a history guy. I love it, and it's pretty fascinating.
Is that going to be on sorbos.org where they?
It'll be on sorbos.org. Yeah.
Okay. So, that is posted.
So people can go there now and sign up, but we haven't signed up the official. We just got what the schedule is going to look like, and we're just making sure the link is all set to go before we send it out.
So you've got like a lot going on. So
we got a lot going on, I just shot a new pilot. It's a 1 hour drama called Pieces. We shot in Mount Shasta, in North California, and I play the guy that runs a camp for troubled teens. And it's a good 1 hour drama. And Netflix is looking at it pretty seriously right now.
So what do you do in your spare time when you actually have spare time?
I golf. I love to golf. So we're homeschoolers as well. So that's my wife and kids usually travel with me and stuff. And my kids aren't as kids as much. I'm 6'3". My 19-year-old is now 6'5".
Wow.
And my 17-year-old is as tall as me. And then my daughter's 15. But the two boys will probably be in the Left Behind movie as well. My 19-year-old's going to get into it. He just booked a Army movie that he's shooting out in New Mexico later this summer. So, like father, like son. I mean, they grew up with that. They're on sets all the time. So I wasn't surprised they wanted to do it. But I said, as people say to me, what do you recommend? To tell my daughter she wants to get into acting, I say, tell her to get a different career. It's brutal and evil, and I'm so glad to be out of Hollywood. But at the same time, I'm grateful for what Hollywood did for me as well.
I can bet that it does take a lot. It takes you away from your family as well. But also, does it do a mental state for you, like when you get into the characters and then try to get out of character?
No, I love acting. We're like kids, man. It's fun to play other people, But I'm very comfortable with who I am too, so I know the difference. I was never a big Hollywood guy. I mean, we lived 40 miles north of LA, so I wasn't really in that world. And I love the industry. I fell in love with acting when I was just 11 years old. So, I tell people, if you do it because you love the craft. I didn't go out to Hollywood. I grew up in a little town in Minnesota, 7,000 people. I didn't go out there going, one day I'll be Hercules. I don't know. And all I knew is that, I was going to have success. I was very confident in myself, in my ability that talent, luck, timing, all that stuff would come together for me one day. So I'm tell people I'm a 13-year overnight success.
Nice.
Well, I like your family with you, because that allows them to experience everything with you and kind of creates a stronger bond.
No question. My kids are great. I don't have these terrible teens. My kids are awesome, and I'm glad they're in my life. I wish I had more kids. I don't know why we stopped at 3, but we did.
Now, one thing that I have to ask, because my son is actually a bodybuilder, and he just had a tournament, which didn't go the way he wanted it to go, but he's definitely improved. And if anybody has seen his pictures, they'll know for sure. But with the regiment that he has to do for bodybuilding, with eating and lifting, how did you go through that with Hercules?
Well, when they initially came to me with the role, when my agents, hey, they're going to book, because initially it was going to just be 5 2-hour movies. That's all it was going to be. But a year in New Zealand, my agent called me, hey, they're doing a Hercules, 5 2-hour movies. And I was like, I've always been decent in shape. I played football, basketball, sports and stuff. I'm 6'3", I was 225, so I'm good size. But I said, don't they want like a 280-pound steroid dude or something, bodybuilder? I said, no. What they're looking for is like an NFL quarterback size guy or like a decathlon guy or something. So, okay. So I read 7 times over 2 months before I got the role. They auditioned 2,800 actors in North America.
Wow.
So it was a pretty big hunt all over Canada, US, and everything. And eventually, obviously, I got the role. But my regiment was usually up by 4:30 in the morning. You're on the set filming by 6:30. I would shoot until 7:30 at night. Then I would go lift weights for an hour and a half pretty much every single day. And then get home and study my lines for the next day and go to bed at midnight, get 4.5 hours of sleep and do it again. But
how many years?
7 years I was down there. Yeah. And not complaining. I loved it. I had a great time doing it. And my crew was unbelievable. And we laughed so much in that set. There was just so much. I mean, you can tell on the show. We always, Sam Raimi was our exec producer. So they're going to make it campy and fun, and I think that was one of the biggest things that we all knew, this is the type of show that you could easily laugh at. So let's laugh together at it, and we had serious episodes as well, but it was a blast to be part of it. But yeah, all I had carbs only in the morning. Then it would be 5, nothing but protein the rest of the day, spread out during the day. I mean, I was which was fine by me because I'm not a good vegetable eater. So
yeah. My son actually for like Christmas and everything will bring his own food, and
really?
he eats like 8 times a day.
Sure.
And it's like,
well, my boys are doing that now too. My 19-year-old. I mean, he got into it now, and he's up to about 210. He's 6'5", but he's up about 210. He's put on about 15 pounds of muscle in the last less than a year, and he's into it. So I think I had something to do with that. So,
well, I understand you have a book out called True Faith.
That's a follow-up to True Strength. The True Faith just came out. My wife and I co-wrote together, but True Strength came out of something that happened to me on the set of Hercules. I was doing all my own stunts. My ego said that I could, and I wanted to do my stunts. And my arm was killing me at the last 3 months of season 5. I couldn't figure out what was going on with my arm, shoulder, fingers were cold and numb. I get back to LA. I always had like a 2-month break each season. And most that 1 month would be just publicity, and then 1 month just myself to veg out. But my first big budget movie came out called The Conqueror, the prequel to Conan the Barbarian. So I finally went to see my doctor because I said, I don't know what's going on with my arm, man. It's been killing me for months. He found a lump way up here. He didn't tell me at the time, but he thought it was cancer. He said, I got to do a biopsy and I can't see what's going on. So I go to my chiropractor. And I heard a voice in my head say, don't let him crack your neck, which is weird because in 8 years, he's never cracked my neck because I don't let chiropractors crack my neck. I've never liked it. So I've always gone to the same guy for 8 years. Yet this voice, don't let him crack your neck over and over again. Well, he cracks my neck. And that ended up being an aneurysm that had been spitting out blood clots in the arm where that crack this way, forced it to open up and 4 clots from my brain. I suffered 4 strokes.
Wow.
And I luckily, one of my speech dissolved during the first day. So I was able to get my speech back, but I still have a 10% loss in both eyes. But it took me 4 months to learn how to even stand up and walk again. Pretty tough on your ego when you're playing Hercules. When I went down to shoot season 6, I went from a 14-hour day to 1 hour a day and just slowly worked up again. But it took me 3 years to fully recover. And I wrote the book True Strength. The subtitle is My Journey from Hercules to Mere Mortal and How Nearly Dying Saved My Life. And I didn't want to write it. My wife made me write it. She said, you're going to help people with this book. And she ended up being right. I bring it to every Comic Con. I always bring like at least 10 of those books. They sell it right away. But when I do speaking events on this, depending on the size, if there's 1,000 people, I'll send 200 books. I'll sign.
So is there a way to reserve a copy for Comic Conroe for, people?
Sure. I always bring about 10 or 12 with me whenever I come.
You can hide one under the table for
sure I can.
And I will come find you. Not stalk away like Amy, but come find you.
Why do we gotta say stalker away? Like, why do we have to say that? Stalker like Amy. Man, that's so bad. Now, like when Kevin sees me at Comic Conroe, he's gonna bolt the other way, thinking I'm gonna stalk him. That's not what's gonna happen. Oh my goodness.
If you could just tuck one under your table or whatnot,
DJ, I'll tuck one away. But then my wife and I wrote the follow-up book called True Faith, and it's just like what we saw what's going on in our world right now, the craziness, and we need to find a place to to get along, as corny as that sounds. I mean, I'm tired of all this anger and hate and divisiveness that's going out there. And it's really, you know, we're all going to hit roadblocks in life. God never promised us easy life. So to me, it's like, hey, what do you do when you hit that roadblock? You know, you're going to blame God, family, friends, the world. I always say, cue Michael Jackson's song or The Man in the Mirror. Look in the mirror. That's where the problem is, right there. Look in the mirror. As my wife said to me when I got down, when I was doing my recovery after the stroke, she said, Kevin, it happened. Now what are you going to do about it? And she was right. I can whine and moan about it, but if I'm going to be negative about it, it's not going to help my healing process, is it? So I just push myself harder than I ever could push myself in anything. So that's what I tell people to do. You know, life's not easy. And I remember I used to caddy at this private country club. My dad was a school teacher. I'm the fourth of 5 kids. You don't have 5 kids on a public school teacher's salary. It was pretty tough. We didn't have, but I never felt I was without anything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I used to caddy at this private country club, and these all wealthy guys. And I said, how did you guys become wealthy? Every single one of these guys said, oh, I failed. And then I failed again. And then I failed for another 5 years until I got successful. And I went, okay, I get it. Failure is a positive, not a negative thing. Too many people give up. And they say, well, it's your fault. It's that world's fault. You owe me. You know, my dad said, nobody owes you anything. You work hard in your life. And that's always stuck with me and my 4 siblings as well.
Well, I hate to ask, but go ahead and make that 2 copies you're hiding, because that's something really good. That would be really good for me.
Just
because
we'll come get them.
Okay.
We'll come get them.
Because
but I was going to say, when something that big happens in your life, it changes you dramatically.
Oh, no question.
I went septic in 2016. I went 50% cardiac, full liver failure. And before that, I had 8 books out. Since that point, I have now a multi-award-winning series, a podcast. I'm on this podcast. I've got a blog going. My husband and I are doing a 5-acre farm from ground zero to fully functioning, self-sustaining. And so it's like, when you do something like that or something that happens to you, it's amazing your mind shift. Because before that, you think you have all the time in the world. Yeah. After that, it's like, no, God gave me this second chance. I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah. And it's hey, look, I never thought I'd be doing speaking events. And now I do about 15, 20 speaking events a year.
Nice.
Whether it's medical, motivational, whether it's on my books, whatever it is. I mean, I've already done 5 this year. So my last year, obviously, was a lost year for everybody, but it's already picked up this year. You know, I just did an event in Dallas, and there was 1,500 people there, and it was great. You know, so it's pretty cool. You know, so it's been a blessing to have this whole other world open to me I never really thought about.
And it's like I do healing through writing at panels at conventions, because I'm stage 4 colon cancer survivor, and I'm going through my 4th bout of it right now.
Yeah.
And wow. That was 12 years ago. I was diagnosed at age 37, so I was young.
I'm telling you. Well, yeah, mine happened in my 30s as well, these strokes. I mean, look at the shape I was in. I mean, I was pretty good shape on Hercules, you know. So, I mean, it was tough to have to go through it, but I went through it, and I think I came out a stronger person in a different way, you know, and it was a long road. But I'm telling you, this book, I've had people, cancer survivors, car crash, stroke, heart attack, whatever, come up to me and say, your book made me stop feeling sorry for myself. It's entertaining, it's fun. There's a couple other chapters. There's a chapter from Bruce Campbell in there. My wife wrote a chapter. So there's other chapters on other people, but there's short stories. It's semi-autobiographical, but it's entertaining at the same time. And I think you guys will enjoy the read. It's fun.
Seriously though, hide them under the table for us. I'm serious. If I'm here and there are no books, I am not going to be a happy camper.
No, I commend you on doing that, because I really wholeheartedly agree with you. You know, the state that everything is in, and, you know, all the issues and stuff that are going on with just people in the world. I think we need more people like, you know, you, Kevin, that's doing fun family movies that are, you know, have some faith elements to it and stuff, but just bringing joy to people and trying to bring people together, because we are so, you know, separated and all of these things. And so I think, you know, this is the perfect time to get things like that and to really make an impact on people. And so
all you people watching right now, you better come to the movie Friday night. Okay.
I am. Like I said, and I'm bringing my super hubby and my
come to the movie. Tell all your neighbors. Show up.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's definitely, and it's 13, like I said, 13 days away. It's
Ooh.
next Friday, so it's only
Countdown
13
has
days away.
Where's the location in Conroe again? Is it at the convention
Conroe,
center?
Texas.
Yep, it's in the
Conroe,
convention
Texas,
center.
at Lone Star Convention Center.
Lone Star, that's it. Okay, cool. Just getting that plug out there so people know.
Miss Kathy will be there. She's going to be my partner that night.
Kathy, or where's that question you were going to ask? I think I saw it on your website.
The question, don't, Kathy, be nice.
No, it was a
a
nice question.
Or was it a me question?
I think she wanted Kevin Sorbo to flex.
What?
She wanted to see you flex.
Oh my goodness.
Show those muscles.
Wow.
I'm still in shape for an old dude, but those Hercules days are behind me now.
Sorry, Kathy.
There we go. Oh yeah, there it is.
I forgot.
Oh, that's funny. Will you flex for us, please?
Our listeners up to all a happy-go-lucky crew. So what they come up with half the time, we go with the flow.
We basically just try to have fun on the show. That's the biggest thing, is having fun.
So what's next for Mr. Kevin Sorbo?
Well, I told you after this, I go to Guthrie, Oklahoma to finish up the Reagan movie with Dennis Quaid.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, the Left Behind was written by Jerry Jenkins along with LaHaye, and Jerry Jenkins was the one who was the executive producer on What If that we're showing on Friday night. And it was directed by Dallas Jenkins, who's doing a thing called The Chosen right now, which has 200 million followers around the world. I mean, this thing has exploded on the life of Jesus.
Nice.
And then I've got, I told you about the Western. I'm doing the Western called Trailblazers. And then I have another one that just got funded. We're shooting earlier in the year, Dean Cain and I, and a movie I'm directing called Carpool Lane. And it's a pretty interesting dramedy. It's about a guy, a high-powered lawyer played by Dean Cain, that is his marriage is falling apart because all he does is work 100 hours a week trying to work his way up the food chain in this law firm, and totally forgetting about his wife and kids and life. And the LA traffic is so bad, he sees me on the side of the road as a bum, says, "I'll give you $100 to get in the car so we can use the carpool lane." And things happen during the next hour and a half of the movie that are quite interesting. I think people will find it a very interesting movie. It's a little independent movie called Carpool Lane, and it's quite good. And we start filming that probably in February next year.
Nice. When I lived in Houston, I was very tempted to do that so I could get around traffic. To have someone come sit in the car with me, I mean, that's going to be a great movie, because I'm pretty sure at least everybody in Houston has felt that way or done that at one point. You know,
it's a funny but true story. I actually have a friend who used to put a mannequin dummy in the passenger seat.
Oh, sure.
There was a lady in Houston did that, and she got pulled over and got a ticket for it because they caught her.
Yep, that's happened in LA too, because your traffic there is any better than Los Angeles, that's for sure.
Well, out of the three major cities that I've been through, LA, Houston, I'll even add Dallas, Atlanta, and DC. The worst traffic is LA.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Dallas, I don't like the roads there. And then Houston. And to me, Atlanta isn't bad at all. Atlanta's just so small compared to Houston, which is 80 miles square.
But Atlanta's airport is the worst.
Yes.
It is.
No. LAX is worse.
I haven't been to LAX though.
LAX.
I haven't been to LAX.
At least the Atlanta one looks like it's clean inside. LAX is just horrific. It's horrible. It's just, I don't miss it.
I'm glad
we left. I miss the home I had in LA. I like I said, I was between LA and Santa Barbara. I was 50 miles on either side basically. But the traffic and the taxes, and they're about to raise their state tax yet again. So
my husband and I
were 16.9% state tax.
You're kidding.
Wow. Ow, that hurts.
They're 13.5 right now.
That hurts. That's
How is that even legal?
I know.
That's awful.
And they wonder why people are leaving. They've lost 2 seats in the House because their population is going down. they're the #1 state for people to get the heck out of Dodge.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's true.
Welcome to Mexia. 10 cars makes rush hour.
My sister lives in Mahia, and I think that's
Mahia.
her. Lydia.
It is.
It probably
It's
is.
Lydia. It is.
Given streamer permission. I think that's my sister.
Oh goodness.
So we went to, my husband and I went to San Diego because most of his family's there. Well, a portion of his family's there. The worst road I think I've ever been on was going, it's like you could see Hollywood one way, but it's like 8 lines of traffic going up this huge hill.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that before in my life. And I'm ADD and OCD, so I just covered my eyes and let my husband drive. I had never seen that before. 8 lines on just one side.
One row going one way. It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm just like, oh no.
I know. It's overwhelming.
I'm good. I'll stick to my little state.
So guys, I hate to do this, but I've got in 7 minutes, I've got another Zoom interview on a news show.
Well, it was a pleasure to talk with you. We look forward to seeing you at Comic Conroe.
Yes. Thanks for coming on.
We'll see you on the movie time and save us some books, and we'll see you then.
I'm looking forward to it, guys.
And we are definitely out of here too. So
come up, Amy, and stalk me, okay?
Thank you for being with us, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show today.
All right, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.